Relics Radio, your favorite weekly podcast dedicated to the metal detecting and treasure hunting community. Here are your hosts, Ken from Adventures in Dirt and Tony from 5280 Adventures.
Welcome to Relics Radio Wednesday night here with DK from Adventures in Dirt. I want to bring in my co-host because we've got an amazing show for you tonight. Welcome. Mr. 5280 Adventures himself. Tony, how are you, man? Hey, happy Wednesday to you.
Have another happy Wednesday to you. Another Relics Radio show. I'm excited for tonight.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good time. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to go over, and we're going to have a great show. How are you doing? I should ask that first.
Doing great, man. Things are, busy and, having some issues with my dog right now, but we're getting through that pretty good. And then, we've been just hot on it for this hunt we have coming up. And
I know we had another meeting last night for Rush to the Rockies.
Yeah.
So if your guys are listening out there, Ken, tell us a little bit what's Rush to the Rockies in Colorado. What does that mean?
Well, you guys see all the time these metal detecting events that are going on all around the country. Rush to the Rockies is our national open metal detecting seated hunt here in Colorado. It's in beautiful Kiowa, Colorado. It is happening May 30th, 31st, and June 1st. That's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to have 5 hunts over 2 days. So Friday is kind of like a check-in day. We're going to have like a practice field out there. Then Saturday and Sunday, we're having 5 hunts, including a children's hunt. So if you want to look for more information on that, you go to eurekathc.org or just Google Rush to the Rockies and you'll find it for sure. We're going to have a blast. It's so much fun. It's put on by the Eureka Treasure Hunters Club. And Tony, there's a new element this year that we were just informed about. Why don't you tell who's coming to our event and what it's all about?
Yeah, last week we announced that Mind Lab is going to be joining Rush to the Rockies finally. It's kind of been about 2 years in the making to get them out here to Colorado to actually put on Masters of Metal with us. It's a whole competition type of I don't know if it's like a tournament, but you win the tournament, you win this event, and then you move on to the next round. And at the end of the year, they crown a champion, the Master of Metal. So this year for our Rush to the Rockies, we're blessed and happy that they're going to join us and put on Masters of Metal with us. It's going to be awesome. It's 4 different events. You have a team of 4 with 3 with an alternate. You guys compete in different events. You tally up scores, and then you have an opportunity to win first place. How much is first place wins?
$2,500.
Put it in my bank account right now. $2,500
is $1,500.
$1,500 for second.
And third is $1,000. That's pretty good for coming to a metal detecting event.
Yeah.
So
we're excited. I mean, you're not going to believe this, but Ken and I are actually on the same team. We're all registered.
We are. Yeah, we are.
We're so excited to actually do this. Looks like Gene in the chat says was in Masters of Metal twice. Lots of fun. Not easy.
Not easy.
And
that's what I've heard.
I think that's We're going to do some practicing. We're going to do some prep for it so we can try and do the best that we can. It's all a good time. Competition's always great. We all love competition with each other. I know, Ken, when you and I are detecting, it's always competition as to who has the best find. But man, whoever finds the best thing, it's just incredible to be there for it. So
right.
Masters of Metal will be the same way. I'm excited to compete with it. So
put a team together. Come on out and see us in Colorado. You need 3 people plus an alternate. So people of 4, and the alternate actually doesn't have to be there, but you need to name a 4th as an alternate. Come on out, register your team over at Mind Lab's website or Masters of Metal. You can Google that. I think we have a link we'll put down in the description or in the chat. And you'll be able to come over and join us and compete against us. It should be a lot of fun. If you win first place, you're going to move on to Alabama to the finals, and that's going to be a lot of fun. If you do compete, if you come and you compete, it costs like $50 per team, not per individual, but per team to register over at Mind Lab, and you'll be able to compete, and it won't affect the Rush to the Rockies hunt. So if you're trying to decide between the two, you could do both. You could do Rush to the Rockies seeded hunt, and you'll still be able to participate in the competition in between all that hunt stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Really excited.
And we're going to win. And we're going to win.
I know. Yeah. Just, make sure you understand you're going to take second because we're taking first. We're already been smack talking in our group chat and everything.
Creating a team name.
Yeah.
Locos. We're going to have fun with it. If you guys got an idea for team name, just throw it in the chat. It'd be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Come up with. Yeah. We could use a good team name. Let's see here. I'm gonna post that.
This group, I have faith in them. They would be able to.
I know.
Some good ones.
I know.
Probably not being able to share it publicly, but they'll come up with some good. Who we got joining us?
Let's see. All the way at the top, and we're going to zip through this because I know we want to get to our guests. Y'all are here to hear the guests, not us. But Teresa, the treasure hunter, was here. She was in early saying, "Happy Wednesday, everybody." Teresa, it's great to see you.
5 o'clock. Bang.
I know. She was in early, huh?
Yeah.
And, of course, Mr. Bill Hayes was here.
Hello, Bill.
That's right. It's Tim says it's Thursday Eve. You know what time that is? It's Relics Radio time.
That's
great.
We
used to be on Thursdays. That's right. Now we're on Wednesdays.
Thursday Eve. That's right.
Yeah. Brush Popper Detecting.
What's up, Brush Popper?
Yeah.
Popping in there.
Here's a new one. Blueprint Exploration.
Ooh, I like that.
Nice. That's pretty cool. I like that. Welcome to Relics Radio. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yep. I see FLX in there. Winner chicken dinner.
What's up with that? Big congrats to FLX. If you guys did not see or hear that, last week we gave away some incredible gifts. We gave away a Excalibur shovel and a Minelab Xterra Pro, right?
Xterra Elite.
Elite. Yeah.
That's right.
And FLX won the metal detector, so we got all that going. That should be sent out to FLX pretty soon. And you guys stay tuned because we're going to have pictures and videos of the gifts that went out, our lucky winners and things like that. So great community, and we appreciate all the support.
That's right. Names are already flowing in, man. Inches and angles.
That's it.
Scott Ellis. Perfect.
That's it.
Like you guys are always saying,
man.
Inches and angles.
The Ken groupies.
Oh, that's funny.
That's right. Yeah. What about we could have like the Kenflix kids. Something with Kenflix.
I am never going to live that down, am I?
No, you're not.
Oh man. Well, we should bring Jag on. Jag, are you there in the green room there? We should definitely try to bring him on.
All right.
Here we go. Jag, get ready. We're coming to you, bud.
All right. Well, Relics Radio brings to you Jag. You guys know him out there on social media as Claim the Past.
That's right. It's really dark where he's at right now, so you'll just have to take our word for it.
He hunts in the dark.
Yeah,
hey, we're good. I don't know what's
much better there.
He is.
I just had a phone call coming in, and it messed up our audio and
no
camera
problem.
system.
No, you sound good.
We're here. We're in.
Excellent. Well, everyone, Jag, everyone, claim the past.
How's it going, boys? What's good, chat? How we doing, chat?
Yeah. So,
awesome.
Tell everyone who you're at, kind of whereabouts you are. You don't have to give GPS coordinates, but general idea.
Well, if you haven't seen like my TikTok and my Instagram, I'm Claim the Past, and I'm located at Eastern North Carolina. It's my home state. This is where I grew up. This is where I've lived. This is where I've stayed. I love this state, and Lord better. I'm kind of a beach bum, so obviously I live at the beach. I'm wearing a Atlantic Beach hoodie.
There you go.
So you already know.
You got a little bit of history in that area too.
A lot of history, man. A lot of old history. This is where I live in a zone. I don't know if you've heard of the Lost Colony or whatever, but that was like the first settlement that came to North Carolina. Roanoke. And so I live not too far from that zone. And so we have a lot of like old history, and we find a lot of really, really old stuff out here.
That's a great spot. That's a really
Yes.
great spot.
I've
I've
seen
watched
you find-
recently a lot of stuff about Roanoke. It's an interesting story for sure. That everybody has their speculation as exactly what happened to the colony and which direction they moved and all that kind of stuff. It's a great story. If anybody hasn't seen or researched anything about Roanoke, it's a really really good historical U.S. history type of a story and everything. It's good to follow up on that.
I could be wrong, but I was told they found the lost colony. Like they
Mm.
they haven't gone public with it because if they did, then it wouldn't be the lost colony.
Wait,
But I
wait a
was
minute.
I was told that they found the site.
Wait a
When
minute.
does
Wait a
your
minute.
video of that come out?
Jag, did you find it?
Yeah.
I
Are,
wish.
are you ready to release that here
I wish.
on Relics
I have
Radio?
to
Exclusive
finish-
on
I have to
Relics
finish
Radio.
detecting it first. I have to finish metal detecting it, and then I'll drop the coordinates.
Actually, you
Perfect.
know what? Josh Gates on Expedition Unknown, he did a thing on Roanoke.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm throwing that. I'm just throwing that topic out there. Expedition Unknown. Okay,
Yeah, you're going to hear us talk about that a little bit.
We'll talk about that later,
We'll start
Jag.
mentioning
Josh Gates is my boy. I love Josh Gates.
Josh is a great guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Josh is a really good guy.
I've been watching him since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So last year.
Yeah.
No. Little kid. He was
Oh.
talking to us earlier about when he started Meltech. We'll get to that in a second. But Roanoke's another thing too. We were just talking about on last week's show how history teachers and history classes and stuff, they don't teach everything. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about the Mormon War. Have you ever heard of the Mormon War, Jag?
I have not heard of that.
There you go. Right. Big part of our history here in the West.
It's a big part of U.S. history that nobody's even heard about.
No one's even heard about.
I've never heard of it.
And Roanoke, people know about Roanoke, but not over a large area. People in the West probably don't get taught about Roanoke as much as the people in the East. So, yeah, we got to maintain all that history, man.
Well, you say that the history teachers don't really talk about certain stuff in history. From my experience, history teachers have never talked about anything because at least where I'm from, they don't really teach history anymore, which is kind of sad. And the history, they taught like a lot of American history in like middle school, but it was all like, recent American history. It's like Civil War and like through like the civil rights movement, all that kind of stuff. They don't really talk about like colonial America and the Revolutionary War. They don't really talk about all that.
Sad.
Yeah.
Absolutely sad. Yeah.
Well,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say my last year or all throughout high school, they didn't teach us any history. I didn't have any history classes in high school.
Yeah.
So my last history class was 8th grade.
Wow. That's a shame.
Yeah, it is.
With that idea though, like where did your passion for history, metal detecting, treasure hunting, like all that, where did that come from then? If you don't really have
we'll take you way back to the very beginning. The very beginning. I was 4 years old when I got my first metal detector. It was one of them little $25 Dick's Sporting Goods bounty hunters. And my mom bought it for me as like a birthday gift or a Christmas gift or something. And we went to the beach with my friend, who I think he was like a year older than me. And we went to the beach with him, and he had a Garrett Ace 150 at the time, and I had that little machine. And my mom would sit there on the beach and throw like her pocket change out all around the beach where we were set up. And I didn't know she was doing it, but I would just go around with my metal detector, and I'd be finding all this like clad on the beach. And to this day, it's the most clad I have ever found on the beach. And it was coins that my mom threw out. And it wasn't until like last year or like maybe 2 years ago when I was talking to my mom, and I was like, "Mom, you remember the first day we went detecting? I found all those coins on the beach." And she's like, "Oh yeah, I put those there." I was like, "No."
And you just found that out all these years later?
No, I found out like a year or two ago. I went my entire. Anyways, so after that first beach day, I told my mom I wanted the metal detector that my friend had because he found more coins than me because he had a slightly better detector, which was the Ace 150. So I convinced my mom to buy me an Ace 150 when I was probably 5 or 6 years old. I used it for 7 years until 2017. Wow. I think I was 10 years old. 11 years old, and that's when the AT Nug was like really killing it with the AT Pro. And that's when the AT Pro was big back then, 2017. And so I got the AT Pro, and my very first outing with it, my friend took me to a colonial site, and it was the first colonial site I had ever been to, and I dug like I think 3 or 4 flat buttons. My buddy dug a KG2, and my other buddy found I think he found a cut pistarine next to like a
Oh my
telephone
gosh.
or something. But
Jeez.
I'm 10 years old seeing this stuff
Yeah.
come up out of the ground, like, and it's one thing when like you're watching people find it online, but it's another thing when you watch other people find it right in front of you. And it's like at 10 years old, I was going crazy, and I wasn't even the one. I was more excited with the finds than they were, and it wasn't even my find. I was just.
That's
I was
awesome.
excited.
He's
You
one
can
of
see
us,
that
Tony.
coming out of the ground.
I know. My gosh, right?
It's
Did
crazy.
you even know who King George was at that time? I mean, you're 10 years old, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
who's KG?
I knew what the King George coins were because the very first or not really YouTubers, but very first social media stars I ever watched were KG and Ringy. So
There you
obviously I knew who KG was, and that obviously I knew what King Georges were. So I knew what pretty much all the relics were without ever finding them, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I had
It
never
does,
found a
100%.
King
You
George
watch-
before. Like all the common relics that we find as relic hunters, like shotgun shells, harmonica reeds, lipstick tubes. Like I knew what this stuff was, and I'd never
Right.
found it before. If that makes sense.
You
Absolutely.
watched a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of YouTube. I watched more YouTube than I actually detected.
Tony and I recently were helping some archaeologists like uncover some things and documenting some things. We didn't get to keep anything, they document it, tag it and bag it or whatever. And they were so impressed because everything that came out of the ground, Tony and I were like, oh yeah, that's a piece off of blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's a harmonic reed. And like, they didn't know how we knew this stuff. And it wasn't really always from just an extensive experience of us finding tons of it, which we do.
Right.
But even stuff that we've seen on YouTube videos, we were able to go, you know what that is? That's this and that and this and that. And they were just blown away. So I totally understand what you're saying, that you knew what a lot of this stuff was, even if you had never found it from watching videos and stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just it's a small community, and somebody somewhere knows what something you find is. You know what I mean? Like somebody somewhere will know. And the vast majority of us post our finds on social media, and because our community is so small, like, information flies around really, really quickly. And basically everybody knows what everything is pretty much, because the information.
The thing that gets me, Facebook, are you on ID Me on Facebook?
I am. I'm on all the groups. All the groups.
That site absolutely blows me away, because you can post something within 4 seconds, you've got 3 comments and they're already telling you, what it is. And it just, but that blows me away. And that's how we all learn, about, relics that are over in Roanoke, or, you learn about things that are in Colorado, because, we all have different kind of history all over the entire country. So it's great to see what people are finding and go, oh yeah, that's a such and such. And like, okay, file that away. Now I know exactly what that is if I ever see one. All
right. Well, to slightly change the topic, you said something about Colorado. What kind of history is out there in Colorado? Because I've never been out there, so I know it's not horrible. I know it wouldn't be as old as North Carolina, obviously, but like, what's the oldest it gets out there?
Well, believe it or not, we're actually a certified state. We're not still a territory out here. We have real post office vehicles that deliver. We're not on Pony Express anymore.
We have power.
Yeah, we have power, all that kind of stuff. No, Ken, take this one. You're good at Colorado history.
Yeah.
Quick rundown.
Yeah, quick rundown. So what we have here is we have a lot of pioneer history, a lot of pioneer relics. So when they were sort of pushing west, right, from the east, wanted to expand America, pushing west, this was all Indian territory, and they kind of came through. So as it's establishing that, there was about a 10-year period that, from like 1849 to like 20-year period, 1869, it just exploded here with pioneers coming into the area, and they found gold in the Rocky Mountains. So they decided not to go ahead and go to California and cross those Rocky Mountains. And so you have a lot of mining camps here. You have a lot of military camps from the cavalry that came this way to protect the settlers. You have a lot of Indian War relics here. And then, of course, you have just regular pioneer relics. And a lot of people that were in American Civil War came this way to try to strike it rich in the gold fields, either in Colorado or over the hills to California. And so sometimes you find some relic of their uniforms or things they brought with them from that time period. But you're right, not too many colonial relics here and not too many Revolutionary War relics. When we find that, it always makes us scratch our head, right? So that's, yeah. And I tell the story all the time. And I used to think that we were very kind of historically depressed here, where it's like, oh man, I wish we lived on the East Coast because we could get Revolutionary War and colonial. And that's the way Tony and I kind of thought. And we had a guest on the show that straightened me out. He's like, Ken, do you know how important it was for those pioneers to push west as far as the America is concerned with the development of our nation? Those relics were everything to them. They left their entire families and went across this barren, land to try to make a better life for themselves and also, manifest destiny. This whole thing that was being pushed. It was so important to America, and it kind of made me rethink and reframe my mind on that. So, yeah, we don't have colonial, but we do have some good history here, and Tony and I go after it.
The Native American stuff that I've seen that's come from Colorado has been really nice because that area has like the agates and stuff.
Yeah.
So you have all these really cool colored arrowheads. Coming out. And they have some really skilled Native Americans out there. Where North Carolina, we did not have very skilled Native Americans. Our arrowheads look like they don't look very good. They just look like triangular shaped rocks. For real.
Oh, come on. I've seen some stuff on your social media. You do come across them every now and then for sure.
Every once in a while, I've probably picked up close to 3,000 arrowheads in my life. Only 5 or 6 of them are actually remotely good quality arrowheads. Most of them are not very good quality. As in, if I were to place it in your hand, you'd be like, what in the world am I looking at right now?
Yeah, once we get on a site where we know there's Native American artifacts, our eyes are going one way, our ears are going another way. You know what I mean? Because we're swinging the detector, but our eyes are looking for anything unusual.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, one of my last videos on my YouTube channel, I was metal detecting, and right as we got ready to leave, we had this young girl with us. She wasn't detecting. She was a cousin of this guy I was detecting with. And I told her, I said, you know what, just go look around. Every now and then you can find Native American artifacts here. So just keep your eyes peeled for something that stands out, And sure enough, just as I was leaving, I looked down and there was this broken blade that I was like, ugh. So I picked it up and I went and I dropped it in my buddy's hand and we just all freaked out,
Oh man.
It was really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Yeah.
So 10 years old, you got AT Pro, you're sort of hitting it over there on the beaches now. So you have beach detecting, you have relic hunting,
Native American.
Native American, probably megalodon teeth and all the sort of teeth fossils and all that stuff.
Yep.
There's so much for you to do, man. What's your favorite?
It's
favorite type of hunting.
It's got to be metal detecting, but specifically colonial, like as old as it possibly can get. And that's part of the reason I've been in Florida so much is because I want to find the oldest, the oldest of old that you can possibly find in America. And that's Florida, because Florida was settled by the Spanish in like the 1500s. So that's where that's where your earliest American relics are going to come from, is down in Florida. And so that's where I've been spending most of my time because I'm chasing those early coins, those early buttons. The oldest it gets here in North Carolina is like 1650. If you get to like 1650, you've done really, really, really good. And those sites are hard to find. My area doesn't have much in like the 1800s. We had a lot of obviously the colonial history. Like 1680 to about 1790 is about that's like my window. And then there's nothing until like 1890, 1910, turn of the century. there's like the whole 1800s. There's like nothing really out here. Like there's no standing 1800s houses, but there's standing 1700s houses, but no standing 1800s houses, which is really strange.
That's
But
interesting.
When are we coming to visit?
Yeah, I know.
whenever, let me know.
Man, dude.
There's fields
Dude.
everywhere out here. You can
Shoot.
walk
That's
into
crazy.
like a farm field and find stuff.
Yeah, that
So-
sounds awesome.
Isn't that crazy? Like you can walk anywhere and you're stepping on that much history. Just absolutely incredible.
And most of the sites that I find are really interesting the way that I find them. I don't use maps to find my sites. I use topography and Google Earth, and I just guess. Like I'll guess farm fields, and so I'll just walk into a farm field without my metal detector, and if I don't see brick on the ground, I won't swing it because there's nothing there, and I'll just walk around until I see brick, and once I see brick, I grab the detector. And it's like a 50% chance that there's actually history out there, but you don't know until you go out there.
Yeah.
So, and also the maps out here, there's hardly any maps out here. Everything was documented really, really poorly. At least in my part of the state.
Yeah, I've heard that
Mixed
in certain
stuff.
areas, that the
Yeah.
documentation wasn't the best and
Mhm.
stuff, but I'm sure
Well,
there's
I
Go
know, like as we're doing our research and we're trying to pull out old maps, we use a couple different websites, but there's some areas in Colorado that there's no maps prior to 1953.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, and these are good potential areas, and just can't find those maps, unfortunately.
Yeah, end of the world right there. Chink.
Right. It just it started in 1953. I don't know.
Yeah.
As old as my area is, the oldest map that I can find is 1911.
Really?
Wow.
There's some
And
maps,
there's earlier than that.
Yeah, there's some maps that are from the 1700s, but they're like they don't show anything. It's literally just a map showing what the
Sure.
state looks like. And it doesn't
Yeah.
show the sites
Right.
that I'm looking for.
Yeah. It makes it tough. There's like their personal stories of, getting around to all the old people in town and kind of hearing these stories and having them kind of give you some hints. There's people that have dug there
Yeah.
before that can give you some hints. Yeah, but you walk in the fields finding brick. I know Tony and I do that too. And usually it's an iron patch with some brick in it or broken glass, like a debris field.
Mhm.
And, and if we're looking for Native American, right, that's usually sort of on a raised area near some water. And, like I said, once we know there's artifacts there like that, boy, it just ups the ante and makes it a lot more exciting,
I'll give you an example. So there was one of the colonial permissions that I got. It was just a farm field, and the dude's house sat by the road, and then his farm field was like behind his house, and it went all the way down to like a point on the edge of a river. And I asked him, I was like, "Hey, I have a sneaking suspicion that there was a colonial house site at the back of your property." And I was like, "Are you cool if I go back there and do some metal detecting?" And he's like, "My family's farmed this property for 200 years. There ain't never been a house back there as far as I'm concerned." And I was like, "Well, do you mind if I give it a shot?" And he's like, "Okay, go ahead." So I go back there in the field, and I gave it 3 or 4 hours. I came back and showed him a handful of coppers and pistarines. And he said,
and he was
"Wow,
blown
this-
away.
That was
Yeah.
back there." Like, yeah, it came from back there.
Wow.
And, I just told him how I figured the site was there. And this site it was gone by like 1750.
Yeah.
So
Jeez.
200 years ago, when his family started farming it, there was nothing
Right.
there.
Nothing there.
And
Yeah.
probably no cross contamination then either,
Mm-hmm.
which is fantastic.
It's so refreshing to get on a nice early site like that.
He must have been blown away, Jag. He must have been blown away.
Yeah.
And
You know what I
love-
mean?
That's happened a lot too, and I love surprising property owners with my finds.
Yeah.
There's
That's the
also
way to
the
do
other
it.
there's the other side of it though too, right? Like you can pull up on this home site and he's like, "Oh yeah, go back in that back corner." Yeah, 200 years ago.
That's really nice. That's
And
what
they
I
know
love.
their history. Yeah. Yeah.
That is what I love. Is when I ask for permission and I'm like, "Hey, I think there was a house site somewhere on your property." He's like, "Oh, it's back there. Go
Yeah.
back, walk 100 yards east, and when you find the big oak tree, there's a pile of bricks next to it." I'm like, "Thank you."
Thank you.
They spill the beans on you quick.
Just save
Yep.
me a few hours.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool, man. So Do you ever give your relics to the homeowner or something? Kind of line them up with some trinkets?
I actually do. That's part, and that's part of the reason why I love doing this is because like, yes, I have a nice collection and I have a lot of relics, but I like to give what I find back. I think it would be wrong if I kept like everything and didn't show the property owners, because if I was a property owner and a random person wants to come dig in my yard, uh, and I let them and they find a bunch of stuff and then don't let me keep it, I'm gonna be like,
Oh yeah.
you're not coming back. But I do like to, like here. Actually, I don't even know where it's at. I have a display case already made for a property owner that I haven't given back yet. But I have these little, like, I'll make like these little Riker case things.
Yeah.
And then I'll like add labels and stuff, and I'll fill it with relics. And usually I'll take it back, clean it up, and then I'll clean everything up, and then I'll give it back to the homeowner, and they're usually really, really appreciative. And then they let me come back. And the best is when you give them the case, and they're like, "Oh, thank you so much." Now my neighbor actually has a property,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
it goes on and on.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what we hope for, man.
So no, I absolutely do not mind giving back to the property owners whatsoever.
Do you go out with a crew, or you go out by yourself?
I actually do have a team of guys that I dig with. They're on social media. I don't have a very big team, but it's like I dig with three main people. One of them lives in New York. One of them lives here in North Carolina. And the other one lives in Florida. And they're the only three dudes I dig with.
Do you travel up and down, and all you guys switch places all the time, or what?
Yes, all the time. We'll go to my buddy from New York will come to North Carolina, and I'll go to Florida to see my friend. Then my friend from Florida will come up here. So we all just kind of do our own thing, you know what I mean? And it all kind of depends on what we want. If we want to find this relic, we'll go here, and if they want to find this relic, then they'll come here. And because there's different history on different states. So it's kind of whatever we're in the mood for. Like if I want Spanish history, I'll go to Florida. If I want coppers, I'll go to New York. A lot of people come here for fossils and whatnot, and for Native American. But
yeah. I always wonder like how that works, is like you take like somebody like the Hoover Boys that has a big crew, right? Or Quarter Hoarder, or some of these channels that have these, large number of people, you got a few guys that go with you. Like not only you're asking for permission for maybe you to go out there, but I got 4 or 5 of my pals, and we all want to go out.
Can we all dig?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I will say though, the whole reason I enjoy metal detecting is to be able to do it alone. That was my time to myself. And this was long before I had like a team of guys that I would go out with. So it is nice every once in a while to go dig by myself. If I want to go dig with my buddies, I will go to New York and I will go to Florida to dig with my buddies. But I do have several places, like some near walking distance from my house, that I just go spend a couple hours in the farm field in the afternoon. Maybe I won't find anything crazy, but it's just, that's what I do to it's my downtime,
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
So it's therapy for real.
It is for sure. When did you start the whole social media stuff?
The social media started, okay, so this is funny. It was I could tell you the exact day, October 5th, 2023. And I was going through kind of a rough patch in my life, just one of them ups and downs type of situations. And I was dating this girl, and she broke up with me because I metal detected too much and I didn't see her enough. I saw her every single day. But anyway, she said that I spent too many hours out in the farm field and, all this kind of stuff. And so she broke up with me. And instead of being all sad and mopey in my house, I went metal detecting. And I went and I got a permission and that same day. And I didn't think there was going to be anything out in the field. My very first signal was a 1721 cut pistarine.
Oh,
jeez.
And that was kind of
It was
I
a
was-
sign.
it was like, okay,
Yeah.
like, it just made the day better. And so
Yeah.
it turns out that was a Virgin Colonial site.
Wow.
And I just whipped out my phone and I filmed my pistarine, and I just started filming, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a TikTok and I'm gonna get big out of spite to the girl. And
Oh,
I'm like, that way when she goes and she, stalks my account or whatever, I'm gonna have a whole ton of followers. So I said I'm gonna put in work every single day for a year and see how big I get.
Yeah.
Eventually it turned into more of like, okay, I actually do this for like money now. Like this is like a job for real. Like it went from being out of spite to some girl to like now it's like my full-time everything. And I don't know. That's how I got into it. The first video that I ever posted that I made in that field got like 5,000 views or something, and I was so happy about it because as someone who's never posted a video before, as someone who's never like had an ounce of experience in like video making or anything, to see 5,000 views in my first video, I was really really excited.
that's awesome.
So I went back to the spot the next day, found a bunch more stuff, made another video, it got another 5,000 views. And then I had my Instagram. I just started posting stuff on Instagram, and that's pretty much how it all started. And then people just started reaching out to me, like all the people that I dig with today, and everyone that I've talked to and had the pleasure of meeting, they have all reached out to me, and it's been really nice, getting to see and talk and meet all these people, off of something that I never thought would even happen.
Right.
So
I got a
it's
question.
Yeah.
okay.
Do you still talk with that girl?
No, I haven't spoken to her since.
You haven't thanked her, dude?
No,
You got to pick up the phone and just go, "It's Jag.
Thank you.
Thank you."
She probably knows. I haven't talked to anybody from high school because that was my senior year of high school, and I had one guy reach out, and he texted me, and he's like, "So you're famous now?" And I was like, I'm not really famous. I just I just do
Right.
this.
Right.
And but I guess I live in a small town, so I guess I was kind of the talk in high school after I graduated for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't like to think too much into that. Like I don't do the following or anything. I just enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, you do a good job, man. Like Tony and I are watching
Yeah.
some of your stuff, and a lot of people in the chat said they've been following you for a while. So
I
Yeah.
appreciate you, chat. I
yeah,
appreciate
man.
it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not the girl that I owe thanks to. It's my buddy Sergey. The chat probably knows the Russian archaeologist. He's in a lot of my videos. I'm in a lot of his. He's like my mentor for this. So all my success on social media goes to him, straight up. Like I would be nowhere without him. So huge shout out Russian archaeologist. He's my boy.
All right.
But,
Nice.
Was he your driving force, or did he kind of show you the ropes? Or
he was.
I'm not familiar with him. Yeah.
So my inspiration obviously came from the whole high school breakup situation. But the Russian archaeologist Sergey, he reached out to me and he wanted to do a collab, and it was my first like big YouTuber collab that I was like, oh, awesome, like come on down. And he was only supposed to stay at my house for the weekend, like 2 days. He ended up staying a month and a half. During that month and a half, we became like best friends, and he showed me the whole ropes for content, and my entire like style of content just kind of changed as he like showed me what to do, and he helped me learn how the algorithms worked, and helped critique like my video making skills, like all that kind of stuff. He just gave me a bunch of pointers.
Yeah.
And so that's where the success started coming in. He helped me get like monetized and stuff too. Because for the first like 8 or 9 months, I wasn't monetized on anything. I didn't know that I could have already made a ton of money off of posting, because I could have been monetized in the first week, and I just didn't know. And he's like, dude, you could have been monetized by now. I was like, how do I do that? 'Cause I didn't do it for money. I was working a job at the time. Like I worked at a seafood restaurant
Yeah.
at that time.
Wow.
And he's like, dude, you need to quit your job at the seafood restaurant. because you'll make 3 times what you're making at the seafood restaurant on social media. I was like, are you sure? Because that was something that I was unfamiliar with at all. Like, I made videos just because I liked making videos.
Yeah.
And then, not to mention, my mom and my whole family were way on the edge with it, because they were all like, "You need to go to college, and
Right.
you need to, have a job, and metal detecting's not going to be it for you. Like, you can't do." And I begged my family to give me 1 year, like a full year, just to do content. And now they're completely on board with the content and everything. So
Man,
you put out some great videos, man, and if you guys are watching on the replay or in the chat here, we've got Jag from Claim the Past, and he's on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We've been putting the links in the chat, and it's on the show notes as well. But yeah, just your content itself. We've been watching a lot of it, and it's kind of geared more towards the short version of content. Short form, yeah. That's something that is very distinct for a certain type of people that are going to watch. I mean, Ken and I both we do long forms, and I tell you, we look at our analytics. If you're over the age of 55 and you're a male, you probably watch Ken and I. Who are the people that watch your stuff? Because I want to grow and get into kind of the ideas of or the areas that you're in as well.
The biggest thing that I can say is like a tip to give you guys, or just for anybody who's out there in the chat or watch it, like whoever, if you're getting into content with anything, you have to gear your content to people outside of what you make content about. So in metal detecting, most people who have YouTube channels gear their content and show their content, make their content just for other metal detectorists. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. And that's what I did for the first 8 months. And then Sergey came down. He's like, hey, if you want to actually go big and go legit with this, you got to shift your content to everybody. Like, everybody needs to be a customer. That's like if I were to sell you something, but I only sold to like one group of people, when I could be selling the same product to a million other people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's more, I guess, like a business thing. If you start looking at your content, I guess, kind of like a business, and what you're doing is you're selling your passion. So you have to be able to sell your passion to relic hunters and to millions of other people.
Yeah, the waitress down at the restaurant, like we were talking about before the show.
Yeah.
You want to sell it to that waitress that's, waiting tables down at some restaurant that has no interest in treasure hunting at all, but is gaining entertainment and is entertained by what you're selling. You know what I mean?
Because the thing is I could find, what would be a good example? Okay. I found an 1872 seated dime the other day, right? I could go and post a video and be like, man, I found this 1872 seated dime. That's really cool. And all the relic hunters are going to go crazy over it. But somebody who has never even seen a metal detector before, I don't know what a 1872 seated, what is that? Like, and they just lose interest. But if you were to say, this is a 150-year-old silver coin, that's like, okay, well, I know what a silver coin is, and I know 150 years is pretty old. So I guess it would be in the way that you would word something like that.
Sure.
What would be another example? Like a shoe buckle, for example. Shoe buckle, right? You show this to a random person on the street, you drop this in their hand. Okay, what is this? It looks like a bent square, a bent rectangle. Like, I don't know what this is. But then if you tell them, okay, this was, I don't know, a 200-year-old pirate buckle or something like that. Like, you word it however you want to, make it interesting, and that's how people start becoming interested in what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you go specific with your finds to where only relic hunters can understand it, you're not gonna reach like a farther audience. So then that's one thing I still struggle with that sometimes.
That's a question that just came up. Tony, you want to grab that question from Matt?
Yeah. Matt from Gone Digging. Welcome on, Matt. But Matt says, do you feel that the way that you're presenting it is selling out, or how do you manage
My thing was
the balance
bugging out. Are we
between?
good?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear us, bud?
Yeah, I can hear y'all.
Okay, all right. Do you feel like you are selling out? Like if
That's
you're
good.
how you're
I think,
presenting it to people?
We can see you, bud.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well, I just
you're
wanted to
good.
make sure that was good.
We let you
My,
know if it goes out.
my screen was
Yeah,
bugging out for a second. I don't know what was going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
How do you
one of the
feel that
biggest
you
things
can
that I've
manage?
struggled with is
Hey, Jag.
how to promote, metal detecting to more than just metal detectors who are in the hobby.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Can
Okay,
you not hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Ken.
Yeah. So Matt wanted to know, like, how do you manage that balance between like being genuine and selling what you do? How do you like, do you feel like I guess you're appealing to a larger audience, so you're not so worried much about being true to the relic hunters necessarily. They get to see what
Yeah.
you find and they know what it is, but
Mhm.
you're reaching a larger audience by saying this real is a pirate coin or something like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. It is kind of a weird balance, and it can be awkward because I I don't like to directly lie, and I won't directly lie, but sometimes it doesn't hurt to kind of bend what a relic actually is to make people understand it, if that makes sense. Like if someone came up to me, um, and I had a cob and I dropped it in their hand, I said, "Okay, this is a Carlos the fourth 2 real cob." Well, they're not going to know what a Carlos the fourth 2 real cob is, but if you say, "Okay, this is a 400-year-old pirate coin," oh, now I understand it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't drop a cob in somebody's hand and say, "Okay, this was held by Blackbeard the pirate" or something, because that would just be outright
Sure.
right line.
Sure.
I can see that
So-
fine line. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
It is
Yeah.
a really fine line.
And that's how you're appealing more to the general public rather than, like you said, the specific relic hunter who understands what that Spanish cob is.
Mhm.
But you're kind
Exactly.
of expanding out to those people that don't have any clue, and they wouldn't really care about it if you identified it as a Spanish cob.
Exactly.
But everybody's heard of pirate treasure, that's for sure.
Yeah. everyone loves pirate treasure. The second you throw pirate in there, everyone goes crazy.
Interesting.
Mhm.
And I do want to back up a bit and congratulate you, because I know it was very brave of you to address that with your family, that you wanted to take a
Yeah.
year and for them to, because I'm sure I'm a
Creator.
parent, I got 6 kids. I'm sure there was pressure to kind of say, nope, you're making a mistake, do this thing. So for you to stand up and say, give me a year, very brave of you. And then they must be really proud of you now for what
Yeah.
you've done with it.
Well, I have never enjoyed school, like, ever. I always thought for me, school was a huge scam. I Here's an example. So junior year of high school, I skipped over 100 days of class time, yet I passed with straight A's. How does that work? Well, it's simple. You just manage your time correctly. And all the days that I was skipping school, I was working or metal detecting. You know,
Yeah.
my grades showed that I did the work, and I was there when I needed to be. I passed my test. I obtained the knowledge. I just didn't want to have to sit there and do nothing
Mhm.
all day, because that's largely what high school is. Like, it's really, really easy. And I didn't want to have to go through another 4 years of that in college, to maybe or maybe not get a job that I did or didn't want. I would much rather just take a year and just travel, have fun, make memories. And honestly, if a year was all I was able to do with metal detecting and I had to go to college because this wasn't working out, hey, that's fine. But
Yeah. Very cool, man.
I just
That's
needed
awesome.
I just needed that year.
Have you ever been over to England?
I
You
have
ever
not.
detected over there?
I would love to, and I was supposed to go last year. I was supposed to go this year. I know we're still kind of early in the year, but I've there's more. There's just a few more things on my American bucket list that I need to cross
Yeah.
off. Before I go to England, because I feel like once you go to England and you find, like, you go to England, it's like, okay, American stuff is nothing now. I've got a bunch of hammered coins in my pocket. So
It's
I mean,
it's tough transition to come back.
it would be. So I want to cross off those last few items on my American bucket list, and then it's gonna be all England. Like the last two items on my bucket list, is a Florida coral Noonan, like a really really nice $10,000 arrowhead, and an Escudo. That's all I need.
Wow.
Those are like
You're
those are,
shooting for the moon. Holy
Easy,
crap.
man. That's easy.
yeah. But I've come pretty close to the Escudo, but it hasn't happened yet. I've been in some zones where they should have come up and they didn't.
Wow.
But we've come close. As far as the arrowhead goes, in Florida, I think I would say that Florida arrowheads are probably some of the best in the world. Aside from like Mali, in Africa, they have some really good ones. But Florida arrowheads, for collectors, run way up. Like they are valuable. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen Florida arrowheads, but the material that the arrowheads are made out of is called agatized coral, I think. And that comes in every color of the rainbow. So you can have blades, like 6-inch blades that are neon green and purple or orange and like these insane colors.
Yeah.
These arrowheads can fetch like tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars a piece.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's
incredible.
But they're incredibly rare. Like they're very, very, very rare. Especially to find a complete one worth that much money. Like it's about as hard to find as an Escudo, I would say. But it's
I wasn't familiar with them. I'm looking at a picture of them right now. And
Yeah.
You're right. It's like a cascade of different colors. Really cool. I'm on a Facebook page called Florida Arrowheads and Artifacts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
Amazing
guy
pictures.
on there. I don't know what his name was, but he posts a lot on that exact page. I think his name's like Gary Cummings. Shout out Gary Cummings. But he's got a lot of really really nice Florida arrowheads. And they're thin as a dime too, man. Like they
look thin and sharp.
Really, really cool. So those are the last two things on my bucket list. After that, it's England time. Actually, not even England. I want to go to Scotland, like northern Scotland. Because the Roman stuff is cool, but I feel like the Roman stuff is really common, you know? My favorite period of time in like all of world history is the Viking era. Like Nordic stuff, I feel like would be really, really cool to find. I would love to find like a Viking sword or like a Viking shield.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be
Could you imagine? That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Yep. You can find Celtic gold and stuff like that, and kind of axe heads and stuff, and old axe heads and
That's
Saxon
crazy.
Y'all have seen those Bronze Age axe heads that come up, right?
Yeah.
They're really crude looking
Palston.
ones. Oh man, I want one of those.
When that have you found a full pistarine?
No, my buddy found a full pistarine, the only one I've ever seen dug, and it was mint. We were digging in like South Georgia, and this was not even that long ago. And I dug a cob like right next to him, and then I called him over because he came over to see it, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a cob." And then he gets up and takes 2 steps and digs a complete 2 real pistarine, and I mean, it was mint. Like,
holy crap!
I'll have to send you guys a picture of it because I haven't even seen it yet. But it's a really really crazy find.
Yeah.
All my pistarines have been cut, which that's cool too. But a full pistarine, it was a 17. Was it a 21? I feel like it was a weird date. I feel like it had like a weird date. It could have been a 23, but it was beautiful. One of the most beautiful coins I've seen come out.
Do you guys get pine tree shillings in your area?
That's up north. Those are like
that's further up north.
Yeah, that's a northern.
That's
thing.
like Connecticut.
Is it?
New Hampshire type stuff.
Yeah,
Vermont.
Those are New England coins.
New England, yeah.
We don't really get those down here. I don't even think one's ever been found in North Carolina. At least to my knowledge, I don't think there's ever been one found.
You were talking about the Viking stuff, and Tim Digger wrote in the chat a Viking ingot with a question mark.
and a
He,
winch.
Yes, I'm about to find
yeah,
a
with
bike.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
knows
He
it
actually
well.
found one in England.
Really?
A
He found
gold,
a gold ingot.
gold ingot.
Oh my gosh, I want to find.
Yeah.
Imagine a gold like ingot,
Yep.
and it's not like the stamps and stuff in it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
beautiful.
Yeah,
That
that'd
would
be
be good.
that'd give you some goosebumps, I'm sure.
Well, they come out in Florida sometimes. Are you guys familiar with the Atocha shipwrecks?
Sure are. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
obviously they come out all along the Treasure Coast sometimes. Like after big storms, people will go out there and find those big ingots. They're like these big bars, and they'll have like the cross like right in the middle of them. And they'll have like a bunch of markings on them too.
That's so crazy.
Love to find one.
We got to what did Jeff Luber brought? Was it a silver ingot? From the Atocha?
Silver giant silver bar from the Atocha. Yeah.
Yeah. We got to hold that
Giant silver bar.
Pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, are you familiar with the YouTube channel called Jimmy Crossbones? Has that ever ran across your consciousness?
I don't think so.
I'm going to shoot you a video link.
Yeah.
He was out there, and they had a bunch of washed up gold, 8 reals and stuff washed up on the beach after a hurricane. And there's this video of him absolutely freaking out as he pulled in $500,000 worth of gold, silver, and pieces of wood shipwreck and all kinds of stuff. So I'll send you the link to the video of that.
That's Florida for you, man. That's why I've been down there.
Yeah.
I'm chasing the oldest of the old.
You ever been down there and detected with Treasure Nick? You know who Treasure Nick is?
Yeah, I know Nick. I've never dug with him, but I've talked to him a couple times.
Yeah,
he's a cool cat.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Right? Sure is.
Yep, I've talked to him. He's out of the Panhandle, I think.
Yeah, he's down in what's it called? I forget the name of it. Place where he's at, but yeah, you went to one of the museums out there, didn't you? In Florida?
Mel Fisher.
Mel Fisher's museum.
Yeah. Mel Fisher.
What'd you think of that?
That was okay. That changed my perspective of Florida. That's what made me want to go down to Florida and spend a lot of time in Florida. Because after seeing what Mel Fisher found, it's like, I was speechless after touring that museum. Like I was genuinely speechless. It's one thing when you go out in a farm field and you find a bunch of flat buttons, and it's another thing when you're standing in a room full of gold plates and like millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of gold and silver, and it's all like older than anything I've ever found.
Yeah.
And to even have just like one of those coins would be worth everything, you know?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It would be
you keep going down to Florida though, you're gonna find it. You'll be on it.
Oh yeah. Yep, I love it. If I'm down there enough, the 8 real will come up. The 8 real cob or the escudo, one or the other.
Jeez.
Yeah, it'll come up.
One.
Yeah.
Need one. It'll happen eventually. I was chilling. I was on the beach. I wasn't even metal detecting. I was with my friend down in St. Augustine, and we were just like on one of the beaches, just hanging out. And a dude comes walking by, and he's got a metal detector. I think he was swinging a manicore, and he had a 8 real cob mounted on a necklace. And I said, "That's a nice 8 real cob you got on your necklace." And he's looking at me and my friend, who look like some beach bums on the beach. And he's like, "You know what this is?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's an 8 real cob." I was like, "Where'd you find that?" He's like, "I dug it." I forgot what beach he said, but it was one of the beaches along the Treasure Coast. And he's like, "Yeah, I dug it down on one of those beaches on a low tide." I was like, "Man."
You know what I was thinking, Tony?
Yeah.
I was like,
I absolutely did.
That's our buddy Jeff.
Yeah.
He has a
I
big
was just like Jeff
cob
Luber.
on his necklace. Yeah. Yeah. And he works with a salvage company that he does a lot of work with them, and so he gets to hold all that stuff an awful lot.
That's what Nick does.
Yeah.
He works. He's with like the Queen's Jewels or something.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Something like that. So he's down there diving them shipwrecks all the time. I would love to do that.
That was so cool.
That would be so cool.
I would love that.
So what are you swinging these days? If you did the AT Pro when you're 10 and stuff, what are you swinging these days? Do you have a baby?
My baby. The rest of it's in the car. but you know the coil. The XP Deus 2, man. I love this machine. This is my baby. This is my baby. He's found so much treasure. And I was actually opposed to the Deus 2 for a long time because I was like 2023. I'm still swinging the AT Max, and I invited my friend out, and he swung the Deus 2, and we went to this spot. I forget where we went. We went to some Civil War spot, and anyways, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat you with the Deus 2," and you know how we have like these little friendly competitions, whatever. He's like, "Yeah." I'm going to find way more than you because I have a better metal detector. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm pretty good with the AT Max. And so we went out, and I'm used to whooping everybody's butt when I go out digging. Like, I'm used to that. But that is the first time where I have ever actually struggled to keep up with Relics.
Wow.
And so we came back to the car, and he found a dozen bullets, like, easy. I hardly found 10 that day. Like, it was, like, I had to work to find those relics that day. But he was, because he just kept talking. He was probably up in my head, too, so I probably wasn't as confident. But anyways, point is, I bought the Deus 2 on the spot. Like, after he whooped my butt that day, I bought a Deus 2 right then and there. So I know he's like, you're not going to regret that decision. He said, you will never swing your AT Max again once you turn on your Deus. Yeah. And, now I don't have any of those machines anymore. I sold them all. I had two AT Maxes and an AT Pro, and after I bought the Deus 2, I sold both AT Maxes, and I kept my AT Pro as a backup machine. But then I ended up getting a second Deus 2, and I sold my AT Pro. So now I just have two Deus 2s.
Well, I'll just say, you two guys, I know you both swing that D machine. When you're ready to step up for an upgrade, I'll take you out and show you the Manicore. What the Manicore can do.
We are not starting this today.
Here we go, Jag. Back me up. Come on, get him.
Oh, no. Hold on. Wait. So, Tony, you swing a Manicore, right?
Yeah.
And Kent, you swing a Deus?
Yeah. Sure do.
All right.
And we give each other the business all
nonstop.
As somebody, okay, so I used to sell metal detectors part-time, and I have swung the Manicore. Like, I gave the Manicore a fair shot. And the only arguments I've ever heard with the Manicore were, oh, it's got the 2D screen. You can see the I don't even use the screen on my Deus 2. My Deus 2 module goes in my pocket, and everything that I find, I hear like in the headphones. From what I've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's nothing that the Deus 2 can, or there's nothing that the Manicore can do that the Deus 2 can't. There's nothing because
there's one thing.
What, the 2D screen?
It can charge with one cord.
What is it? What is it?
You only have to have one cord to charge it.
You can charge it with one cord, he says.
My Deus 2 is one cord.
You have to charge the module.
I have a one cord charger. Yeah. That I will say there's a couple things that I don't like about the Deus 2. It has its flaws. The Deus 2 is not a perfect machine, but in my opinion, it's the best one out right now. The thing is for one, the Deus 2 is completely Bluetooth. Imagine not even being able to come out with a metal detector with a wireless coil. A wireless coil is amazing. I love that. But it's lighter, more compactable. As far as depth goes, because that's what most people really care about is the depth, they have equal depth. I will say that the Manicore does have really, really good depth. The problem is, I feel like the Manicore lacks in iron separation, if that makes sense. Or like, I think iron separation would be the correct term for it. Whereas I feel like if I was in like a heavy iron patch, the Manicore wouldn't perform as good as the Deus 2 would because of how many more features there are on the Deus 2. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like,
sure. Yeah. Well, I know exactly what you mean, Jag.
You can on the Deus 2. You can
I knew I'd love this kid.
you can
Yeah.
change down to the kilohertz of the tone that you want. And so, like with this, the module, it goes into my pocket. I have my Deus 2 running on full tones. So every single VDI number has a different tone. So I can have this in my pocket, have my headphones on, hear a signal. Okay, that's an 83 because I just know what the sound of an 83 is like. On the Deus 2. I just like the fact that there's more customizability or whatever on the module as far as sounds, because I guess I'm more of a tones person. I listen for those tones more than I look at the VDI number. I can hear depth through the Deus 2. I can hear the VDI numbers. I can hear when there's nails, and you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it might just be because I've used the Deus 2 more, but when I did swing the Manicore for a little bit, I just wasn't really a fan of it. You know what I mean? I didn't like not being able to get in those iron patches. I felt like I was missing stuff.
I just got the M9 coil for the Manicore, and it definitely does better now in the iron patches. So
when
coil has a little bit to do with it.
When I sold metal detectors, I recommended people the 900 over the Manicore, because from what I've seen, the 900 does a lot better than the Manicore. Every time I've swung up against somebody with the Manicore doesn't really perform that well. But the 900 is able to keep up really, really well, especially the little tiny puck coil. I've got a buddy of mine who swings the little puck coil, and he's a demon with that little puck coil.
Yeah.
He's really. I wish XP made a puck coil for the Deus 2.
Well, your wish may be granted someday.
That would be nice. Hey, XP metal detectors. Come on, Gary. Hit me up.
Right.
I have ideas.
Hey, we did have a question in the chat from FLX Detectorist. Says, what program do you use on the Deus? What are you using?
FLX, you ever heard of the Techna program? You got to use the Techna program. Look up the Techna program. I actually use a modified version of the Techna program, which I think is based off of sensitive full tones. If I'm not wrong, I think it's like a sensitive full tones. Sensitive full tones is the base program, and then you change like the kilohertz and stuff. The Techna program doesn't work unless you're running the most current update on the Deus 2, so like 2.1 or 2.2, whatever it is. But seriously, look into the Techna program. You will probably hate it at first, but I promise it's a good program.
Good answer.
Yeah,
Yep.
we have a site we hunt right now, and it's I like the customizability too of the Deus 2. We have a site right now we're hunting that is. I got a video coming out on. As a matter of fact, it is the most iron-ridden site I think we've ever been on. Like I put it in general program, it's just like like it's just ridiculous iron. And I created a program I call the X-ray program, and once I put that on, it just picks out the good tones like crazy right out of that iron and helps you tune into it. And yeah, I'll be over that iron patch all the time, pulling out some cool relics. I know Tony does a great job. Again, it's the detectorist and the tool you use, right?
It is.
So
At the end of the day,
Tony uses that Manicore, man, like crazy. Like he's really in tune with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So his instances of digging junk have gone way down. You know what I mean? Because he can tell he's got that tuned into that machine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's how it is. Like I will clown on the Manicore
Absolutely.
for being a Deus 2 user. I will clown on it, but at the end of the day, if it finds you relics, it finds you relics. It may find me more relics because I swing a better machine, but
I knew I loved this guy.
I know, right?
I knew I loved this guy.
In other words, if I'm meeting up with somebody and I pull my XP Deus 2 out of my car and they pull a Manicore out of their vehicle, I know I'm finding more relics than that person out there. I don't have to. I don't have to worry.
Nice.
But the second a Nox 900 comes out of the ground with a puck, or out of the car with a puck coil on it, that's when I start to, shiver me timbers a little bit.
Tony's like, why did we invite this guy on, man? Why did we?
No, you guys are all right. They're both fantastic machines, and it comes down to which one you use the most, which one you respond the best to, and it's all good. We give each other the business all the time.
They need to let me design the Deus 3. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah.
If I design the Deus 3, just know it's going to be the best machine that comes out.
I thought they came out with they didn't they what was it? That was a couple weeks ago they showed that, right, Ken?
Yeah, on April 1st.
That was it was Tuesday, April 1st. They showed they're coming out with the Deus 3.
Yeah.
No.
On April 1st.
April 1st, April Fools.
On April Fool's Day, they came out with that.
Oh, I did see that. I did see that.
Yeah.
I sent that to Ken, and he picked up on it right away. He's like,
I'm like, why
why
didn't Merrill tell me about this?
Yeah, I did see that. I think
man.
the biggest flaw with the Deus 2, actually, there's two of them. For one, it's
not
I
a
don't even
medical.
have it in. The charger. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna show you the charger for those who've never seen a Deus 2 charger. This little thing right here.
Don't like it.
This is the worst thing to ever exist. I hate this.
Correct.
This just needs to go away.
Do you have a
'Cause
magnetic one?
I do have the magnetic one. Yes, that's this. I don't use that one.
That's a good upgrade.
Yeah, because I don't like to be sitting there spending hours making sure the two little prongs, and then you finally
Ken
get
knows
it
that.
to charge, and if you touch it, it'll like cut off. So like
I know all about that. I ran into trouble with that.
The second problem is you'll notice my module is not attached to my Deus 2. The module doesn't go into my pocket because I want it to be in my pocket. The little clip always breaks.
Yep.
You know, and I don't think I've ever
It's a
met
weak
somebody
point.
with a Deus 2 that their thing hasn't broke. It would be nice if this was just like a magnet and it just stuck on there. You know what I mean? It would be really nice if there was just an app on your phone and you just clicked your phone into there and your phone was the module.
There you go.
That would be really nice.
I've seen people use 3D printers and make up those attachments to the back of the module because it's a weak point. You know, it is a known weak point.
I bought one of those and it's friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than the factory, huh?
Definitely.
I know a couple people with that actually, and they say it works really good.
Yeah.
If I were to add something to the Deus 2, it would be depth discrimination. Now, hear me out on this. Let's say you're at a trashy site and all the relics are like 7 to 12 inches deep, and all the trash is 6 to 2 inches deep. Well, I don't want to be digging all the trash that's like super shallow. You know, there's sites where you go to and you have to dig through all the trash to be able to hear all the deep stuff. Well, what if I don't want to do that because I'm lazy? What if you could set your machine to only pick up targets at 7 inches and below? You know what I mean? Like that would be. I don't feel like that would be too far out of the realm of possibility. Like I feel like we can make that happen. You know?
No, I'm sure there could be a way to ignore.
Yeah, I'm sure the technologies they're working on that. I mean, that you can discriminate out certain materials. You know, ferrous and non-ferrous. You know, why can you not adjust that to the depth then as well? Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it can be done.
I feel like that would be a really, really solid to the Deus too.
That's your first million.
I know people hunt the beach and hunt the shallow waters don't like the fact that they have to go from a Bluetooth and then hook up a wire to be able to enter the water. So the people that do that duality, I know that a lot of times they don't like that, but there's other machines out there for that if they don't really like doing that.
I feel like you know how the Deus 2 is waterproof, right? But the thing with the Deus 2 is like you have to, if your coil goes underwater, you have to have that little white antenna. Why is that necessary? Like, why does my coil disconnect from my module when I place it in 2 inches of water? Like, why can't we just not have stronger Bluetooth?
There you go.
Or what would be even better is are you familiar with the Jawbone headphones, Ken?
Yeah.
Sure.
Imagine if those were Bluetooth. Like, why do we have all the other Deus headphones are Bluetooth? You know what I mean? Yeah. Why are the Jawbones not Bluetooth? Like a Bluetooth waterproof headphones would be really, really nice for the Deus.
I think a lot of that stuff. You know, we've talked with D-Lick from Nokta and things, and a lot of other manufacturers, and a lot of the things that they have to try to overcome is just cost. It's not cost prohibitive to make those kind of different things.
Mm-hmm.
For the mat, you know, it would gear towards a very, very small area of detectorists that would actually purchase it, and it would make sense for them to actually put in the time and money into it. It's not that the
I can do it.
technology isn't good, you know.
Oh, they
But-
definitely know how to do it, but as far
Yeah,
as like
yeah.
sales go, it probably wouldn't be the best for sales. So it's
Right.
I guess it's kind of like they have to find like the margin to be able to
Sure.
sell.
Right.
Make that
Yeah.
just for us, would you? You know what I mean? Yeah, we
Come on,
want
Gary.
that.
We need the XP guys in this podcast right now.
We
They-
do.
Oh,
Well, I know a guy. I know a guy. I'll pass some stuff on. Hey, you want to get some questions? Tony came up in the chat. We had
Oh,
a
yeah,
few
yeah.
come up.
That was good.
Recently, I just wanted to point this out. Ohio Relic Hunter says the bounty hunter had a machine back in the day with that feature where it would reject the first 4 inches.
Oh, that's
Oh, wow.
beautiful
Mm,
for a bounty
So-
hunter. Hey,
mm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for a bounty hunter too. So
No kidding.
that'd be crazy. Nah,
uh,
I had a buddy of mine who swung the Deus 1 in 2017, and
Oh,
that's
boy.
how I found out about the XP, because this was like
Yeah.
I had never seen this detector before. Like Mine Lab is pretty big, and there were a couple, like Fisher was pretty big at the time, and then obviously it was Garrett. And then my buddy brings out the XP Deus 1. I've never seen this machine before, and he was killing it with the Deus 1. And I was like, what kind of machine is that? So I've always known about the Deus. It's just it didn't start going like mainstream. Like it wasn't like a huge detector up until the last couple of years. You know what I mean? For the longest
Yeah.
time, it was a really underground machine.
We had another question over here that came in earlier, way early. I don't know if JP is still in the chat, but JP said, "What's the worst thing that you've ever dinged while you're
I've ever
retrieving it?"
dinged?
Yeah,
Oh no.
Yeah, like something that you kind of ruined. But
hit
you
with the
didn't.
hammer or hit with
I know
a shovel.
I know what you're talking about. I have to think. Let me look at a couple relics and see what I've dinged, because I don't think I've dinged anything too bad.
We've all scratched a good coin.
I actually
know.
don't think I really ding. I don't really ding that much stuff. There was a shoe buckle. Where is it? Do I even have it?
Dude, that would fit JP right there.
Yeah,
If it was a shoe buckle.
I'll show you. Here you go. Here you go. A shoe buckle. You see how there's a chunk missing out of it? That chunk that's not supposed to be. It's not supposed
That's
to
a
be
ding.
missing.
That's the ding. Nice.
There you go.
I've
Yeah.
watched other people ding stuff, but no, I haven't really dinged that much stuff.
Do you have the other piece of that?
Yeah, I have the other piece of it. I
Well,
just
that's what JP does. He repairs stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's why he was asking. the
I-
You
question.
can put them back
JP,
together.
Hold up. Wait, is JP still in the chat?
JP, say hello if you're in there. I don't know, but
If
he's
JP's
brilliant.
here, hey,
Haven't
I'll
seen
get
in a
you
while.
up, JP. I have some buckles I need you to do. Some farm field destroyed buckles. You know,
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Are you
I've got a
familiar
couple.
with him?
Who, me?
Are you familiar with JP?
Yeah, I've seen his work is amazing.
Yeah,
Like he
amazing,
finds
man.
some. I don't think we've ever actually spoke, but like I follow his restorations and whatnot. He's a phenomenal person for restoring stuff.
Yeah,
Like-
Yeah.
absolutely.
I know he would. I've got this buckle. It's just a standard U.S. buckle, but it's like you can't even really tell. If I took it out, I don't want to take it out of the case because it will crumble
Yeah.
to pieces. But it's like the whole back of the plate is like falling apart.
Crumbled,
And
the lead.
plow, yeah, the plow struck it 2 or 3 times, and man, it's just in rough shape. Like it won't. It's one of them buckles that won't hold up for very long if I just let it sit in
Yeah.
that case. Like it'll turn to dust in 3 years if I don't restore it.
He's your guy, man. For
Beautiful find, though.
Mhm.
Incredible relic.
Yep.
Sure. So we got
Oh, yeah.
somebody.
I think this.
What's that?
I think we go there.
We go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
You've had some videos come out when you've been hunting World War II military type sites, finding
yes.
dog tags and some incredible stuff too, by the way.
The World War II
that's-
videos.
Yeah. Have you
That's-
been able to, let's talk about ID tag returns. Have you been able to move through that and actually return any of these dog tags that you found?
So I'll give you a little backstory on the
Yeah.
World War II spot, since that's like the money spot. That's like where I call it the money spot because it's really easy for views because everybody loves World War II stuff. And while it's not all particularly old, and I could really care less about a lot of the World War II stuff, like I find hundreds of bullets and buttons and like a day. Like I don't even keep half of them. I only keep the really really nice ones. Um, but I've been digging that spot since I was, I think 10 was when I first got invited there. It was a buddy of mine, and it was his spot, and we used to go out there like maybe once or twice a year, me and this other guy. And well, I got word a couple years ago that he passed away suddenly due to a heart attack, and I called his wife and I was like, "Hey, I know you were like really big into like the dog tags and stuff." I was like, "Are you cool if I continue like his work?" Because he was the one who was returning all the dog tags, and he was the one who was like doing all the heavy research on the dog tags and stuff. And the wife was cool with all of like my efforts to try to continue what he was doing. So I kind of picked up the project of excavating this World War II base. And in the past, well, since 2017, I think we've definitely found over 4,000 dog tags at this base. Last year alone, I found almost 2. And you go out there and find 50 to 100 in a day. Like I've got it somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. I've got a box full of them somewhere.
Unbelievable.
Somewhere. I hope I have it still. It's probably buried. We all have a bunch of junk.
Yeah.
But I have a box somewhere of all the dog tags from my last, here it is. From my last 4 outings at the World War II base.
Oh my goodness, man.
Holy crap.
Oh my goodness.
This is since the beginning of the year. And I've only been out there 4 times this year.
Wow.
And granted, most of them, I'm gonna cover up the name and part of the,
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they
they're
come out really really nice.
Wow.
They're still in really really good shape. And
so what have you been able to determine about those?
Or what?
What have you been able to determine about those? Are those ones that why are they so prevalent in that spot that you're at?
So
why are they discarded there?
Well, so during World War II at this particular base, the soldiers were issued new dog tags. Every I think every 2 months they were issued a new pair of dog tags.
Okay.
So that's why there's so many. There was also like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of soldiers here at this base. So there's a lot of dog tags. And when the base kind of fell over and just collapsed, like in the woods, there's just dog tags everywhere. And it's literally one of the most common finds. The thing about it is the dog tags are actually worth a lot of money. I've had online World War II collectors offer me $100 a piece for tags. Like they're worth a lot of money, but
Wow.
I would feel wrong about selling it. You know what I mean? It's just I would just feel wrong about that because I could easily find the family and give it back to the family, but I would just feel wrong about, selling off somebody else's stuff. So, but of those 4,000, 5,000-ish dog tags that we found, we have been able to return about 10% of that. So about 1 in every 10 tags that I find we're able to give back to the family. And I think
pretty rewarding.
I think 3 of them have actually went back to the surviving veteran.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
wow.
amazing.
So that's incredible.
It takes so much time to research every single tag. It takes a lot of time. So I've got a couple guys that are helping me out with it.
That's incredible. And just the sheer numbers of tags that you have, obviously the amount of time to research and then track down and try to return.
Mm-hmm.
I think that idea just in general for this community is pretty incredible to find a dog tag, a class ring, something that we can identify from the past and be able to return that to people. It's pretty incredible. I know in the chat they're saying, good for you. People really do admire that type of action from from treasure hunters?
I would say, in my opinion, anything that you find that has somebody else's name on it, it needs to be given back. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Unless you can't find, like, honestly, what do I do with these tags that I can't find people for? Well, honestly, they really just sit. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sell them because in the off chance that I am able to contact somebody, I'm going to hang on to them. But a lot of them go, I have given some to a museum because I work with a museum too. And so they take a lot of the tags too. And some members of the museum are helping to try to research the tags and whatnot too. But I don't know. Dog tags
Nice.
are one of those things where it's just like, I feel weird holding on to them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The DOD will take those back.
Yeah. But also, I don't know what the DOD is going to do with them. Like, they might just let them sit too. Like, I don't know. If I'm able to return them, I will. And there was I had a buddy of mine. I don't know if the bracelet actually ever got back, but we found like a sterling silver ID bracelet, and it had the soldier's name on it. And I gave it to my buddy, and I think he hand delivered it back to the surviving relative, like in person. Like, he went to their door and gave it back to him.
That's pretty amazing.
So we find more than just tags though. Like we have found wedding bands with like initials in them, and we found like religious medallions with initials on the back, like all kinds of crazy stuff. So we've returned more than just dog tags. Like we found jewelry, and a buddy of mine found a locket with like a photo of like the dude's wife on the inside, and the photo was still intact on the inside, and it had like the name on it. So I don't know if we were able to actually return it, but that was a really cool find to find a locket.
Yeah, that's real rewarding
incredible.
too, man, that you can return
my
that
gosh.
stuff. I mean, the family, I've been lucky enough to be involved in a few dog tag returns, and World War I dog tag returns. So I like to do a lot of genealogy research. So I was able to kind of help out with a lot of that stuff. And man, it's just when you hear from the family and they're like, oh my gosh, this has gotten the whole family together. This is my great grandfather, and we're all military, and we never had anything of his, and now we have his World War I dog tags, and pretty cool.
The worst part is when you have this dog tag and you go and you do all the research and you finally get a phone number, and you're able to call the person, and I'll call them and be like, hey, I have your great grandfather's dog tag from so-and-so World War II. And they're like, all right, well, we don't want it. Okay, well, then what do you do? If they do, because more often than not, I have family members who are like, okay, I don't want it. Like, I don't care. Like, whatever, you hang on to it. I don't need it back. Like, they don't care. So then what do I do? Like, I feel bad.
Right.
I would feel bad letting it go off. You know what I mean? Because they don't care about their family member who fought for their freedom. So least I can do is cherish it,
There you go.
That's awesome. Great stories, man.
Yeah, I'll honor those, and I have a whole separate display for dog tags of like that their family members didn't want the dog tags, so I have their own. I have like its own separate case full of dog tags that were unwanted by family members.
Amazing.
Very admirable.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, hey, Jag, you've been a great guest tonight, man. We've already reached an hour and a half. Can you believe it? It's been a lot of fun talking to you.
It's been fun, man.
Yeah. We're going to give you the floor. You get kind of last words, and then we'll put you in the green room. We'll say our goodbyes off the air if that's okay with you.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, listen, I've had a great time. I usually don't do these podcasts very often because I'm running to and from all the states and detecting a whole lot. But honestly, this made my night. I was really looking forward to this. I'm glad I had the opportunity to come on here, show some relics, share some stories. I'm really appreciative that you guys were able to have me. And I hope you guys will have me back because I actually have, on this last trip to down south, we did like an East Coastal trip. So we hit Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. And we found a lot of stuff, but I don't have it with me. So I'll get it back in like a couple months because it's with my friend. But when I get that stuff back, I will have a lot of really, really cool treasure like pirate treasure that you guys will see.
We'll definitely have you back on, man.
I love it.
I didn't show you guys too many relics, but next time I'm going to give you guys a relic tour.
Show and tell.
Awesome.
Show and tell next
time. All right, show and tell next time, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Love it. All right, Jag, we'll see you in a second.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Awesome guest, awesome
Great.
show. Everyone's already saying that in the chat, man. Good job, Jag. Awesome show. Awesome. Just want to throw out before we jump off, make sure you guys are signing up for Rush of the Rockies. Sign up for Masters of Metal as well. Compete against Ken and I. See if you guys can beat us over there in the Mind Lab Masters of Metal. And you can find me on 5280 Adventures anywhere on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. Search for 5280 Adventures and come see what I've got going on. Leave me some comments. Love chatting with you guys. And that's about it.
Yeah. You can find me over at Adventures in Dirt anywhere on social media and also at Ken's Deus 2 beats Tony's Manicore.com. It's a really great.
Come on. I just dumped it. I took myself off for that.
I know.
Get out of here.
I thought
Just,
I'd take
no.
advantage of you not being on
I
the screen.
can drop you down there too. You be careful.
Look, we'll see you next Wednesday with a great guest. If you guys get out, go find the good stuff and make sure you tell us about it. We love hearing about what you're finding out there. Thanks to Jag tonight. Great young man, has the fever, right? He's one of us for sure. And we'll definitely be having him back. Make sure you check out all his social media. Claim the Past. Just search for that. You'll find him. But everyone have a great weekend. Go find the good stuff. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you so much for listening to Relics Radio. We will see you back here next week for another exciting guest. Until then, get out and dig it all.